Ladies and gentlemen, the academic procession has begun its approach to the Veale Center. Please clear the aisles and emergency routes and take your seats so that the graduates may enter. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Case Western Reserve University's annual commencement. In the British tradition, a procession for a ceremony such as this commencement may be led by an official bearing a mace or staff, or supervised by a marshal carrying a baton or other symbol of office. A mace is a symbol of authority originating in the military tradition and carried by a marshal. In universities, the mace may be of any length and is carried by the university marshal on all ceremonial occasions. The marshal's mace in our university is patterned after the baton carried by the drum major of a Highland pipe band. The Case Western Reserve University mace was presented to the university by President and Mrs. Lewis A. Tepfer in May 1979. It is made of walnut with a sterling silver crown embossed with the seal of the university. The mace was designed by William Stearns of Potter & Mellon and hand-wrought by Potter & Mellon. The medal worn by the president was the gift of President John S. Millis at the time of the 1967 federation that created Case Western Reserve University. The chain was originally made for a Western Reserve President's University Medal and was the gift of students in Adelbert College. The robe worn by President Snyder bears the official colors and seal of the university. Since 2003, this custom regalia has been worn by our doctoral and professional graduates. The ceremony includes the garb of participating faculty and students, a colorful relic of medieval scholastic tradition. During the Middle Ages, education was a function of religious organizations. The long gown evolved from the monk's habit and the hood from the cowl that monks wore over their heads. Some legends say that the mortarboard cap has its origins in the skull caps worn by churchmen officiating at religious services. Others say the cap resembles a scholar's book and came from Oxford University. The tassel worn on the square of the mortarboard developed from the 15th century when caps and hats came into fashion. The various gowns and hoods preserve the style of their medieval origin and indicate by color and design the degree and the institution by which the degree was conferred. Black is the basic color for gowns in the United States. The bachelor's gown is distinguished by its long open sleeves, the master's by its closed, slitted sleeves, the doctor's by its full sleeves trimmed with bands of velvet. The velvet on a doctor's gown may be black or a color denoting the field in which the degree was conferred. The academic hoods vary in length according to the degree and are lined with the colors of the institution by which the degree was conferred. Hoods of Case Western Reserve University are lined with blue and gray. The yoke of the hood is faced in a color that indicates the field in which the degree was taken. Colors representing doctoral degrees offered at the university are arts and letters, white, philosophy, blue, science, gold or yellow, medicine, green, law, purple, dentistry, lilac, music, pink, fine arts, brown, social services, citron, nursing, apricot, business, drab, engineering, orange. Today's procession is led by University Marshal Robin Dubin, Professor of Economics, President Barbara R. Snyder, and members of the Board of Trustees. The platform party includes our honorary degree recipients and other award winners. The platform party is followed by members of the university faculty and emeriti faculty. The order of position in the faculty group is determined by the date of the first degree of each faculty member participating in today's ceremony. The banners of the university are modeled after the original heraldic banners, which hang in a massive stone chapel on the university campus. The banners are being carried by senior graduates of Mortarboard, the National Honor Society. The commencement speaker this morning is Katie Couric. Katie Couric is the anchor and managing editor of CBS Evening News with Katie Couric, a 60 Minutes correspondent, and anchor of CBS News primetime specials. Throughout her career, she has reported on many of the breaking news events over the past 15 years. Couric has also been a champion in the fight to eradicate colon cancer, since losing her husband, Jay Monahan, to the disease in 1998. It is for her work in this area that she is being recognized with an honorary degree during today's ceremony. During the convocation ceremony, we will award 3 honorary degrees. M. Sharif Bassiouni is a humanitarian and scholar who is often referred to as the father of modern international criminal law. A professor of law at DePaul University, he has been instrumental in numerous international commissions and institutes to address human rights violations, restore legal education to war-affected areas, and promote peace and interfaith understanding. He is a frequent speaker at the university's Frederick K. Cox International Law Center's annual conferences. Orpheus Chamber Orchestra has built its legacy with Grammy Award-winning recordings and collaborations with esteemed soloists. Orpheus Chamber Orchestra employs a unique management model based on shared leadership and workplace democracy. Katie Couric, Peabody Award-winning journalist and anchor, has been a champion in the fight to eradicate colon cancer. She helped launch the National Colorectal Cancer Research Alliance, which supports research into prevention and treatment of the deadly disease. This support extends to the work of researchers here at Case Western Reserve University. In addition to our honorary degree recipients, approximately 2,000 candidates will receive diplomas from the university today. Degree candidates from each graduate and professional school are presented to the president in the order in which each school was established in the university. The undergraduate students will be presented last in today's order. Over 100 students, staff, and volunteers are assisting during today's ceremony. They are identified by their blue commencement shirts. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the academic procession. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, the University Marshal, Robin Dubin.
The 2010 Commencement Convocation ceremony of Case Western Reserve University is hereby convened. Please stand and remain standing for the playing of the national anthem and for the invocation. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the invocation delivered by Rabbi Richard A. Block from the Temple Tifereth Israel in Beechwood, Ohio.
Our God and parent, guide of all humanity, source of all creation, we pause for precious moments to praise and thank you for the world and its miracles and wonders, for life and its infinite possibilities, for work that sustains the body and nourishes the soul, for love which makes us fully human, for this bountiful land and the priceless rights and freedoms we enjoy as Americans, blessings we cherish though too often take for granted, for our beloved Cleveland and the opportunity to work for its betterment, for the privilege of being partners with you in the perfecting of our beautiful but broken world, for the responsibility of working to create a more equal, inclusive, and compassionate society where diversity is seen as a valued resource and every person's worth and dignity is respected and affirmed. Oh, God bless those who lead and labor on behalf of Case Western Reserve University and all who contribute to its vitality and strength. Bless its students, faculty, staff, administrators with insight, dedication, kindness, and integrity. Grant its supporters the rich satisfaction of knowing that their generosity makes a material contribution to the lives of others, to our community, and our world. We ask your special blessing, O God, on those who graduate today and their families, for the support and sacrifices of those who made it possible for these graduates to attend this superb institution of higher learning. We offer the deepest thanks of our hearts. As for today's graduates, O God, help them recognize that the primary value of their learning is not to make a living, but to make a life. Help them realize that, created in your image, each of them is unique, that never before and never again has there ever been or will there ever be another person exactly like them. Help them discover and share the gifts that are uniquely their own, gifts that no one else can give. Help them fashion lives of meaning and purpose, of service and compassion, goodness and justice, lives that matter, lives that inspire, lives that contribute something of lasting worth, lives that make a difference. On this day of celebration, we thank and praise you, O God. You abound in blessings, eternal our God, ruler of the universe, who has given us life and sustained us, that we might celebrate this joyous occasion together. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. The President of Case Western Reserve University, Barbara R. Snyder.
Good morning. I must begin by saying to the class of 2010, congratulations. It is my pleasure today to welcome you and a host of other special guests. First, I would like to introduce our honorary degree recipients, M. Sharif Bassioni, the Orpheus Chamber Orchestra, and Katie Couric, our commencement speaker. More about them later in the program. Welcome also to our distinguished award winners, the trustees of Case Western Reserve University, all the members of the platform party, other guests, our outstanding faculty, staff, alumni, and friends. We are, of course, here for the students. And leading our celebration today is our board chair, Charles Bud Koch. Bud has been a member of the Board of Trustees since 1999 and assumed its leadership in 2008. He is the former chairman and CEO of Charter One Financial. Bud regularly provides wisdom, perspective, and large helpings of common sense to me and to our entire leadership team. Bud, on this wonderful occasion, let me say on behalf of the entire university, thank you so much for everything you do for our university. I also have to say a special welcome to the person who delivered our invocation this morning, Rabbi Richard A. Block. He was one of the religious leaders who spoke at my investiture in 2007, and he got me off to a great start. From that moment forward, he's been a friend, an advisor, a remarkable partner to me and to our university. Earlier, he became officially our partner, as together we announced an historic partnership between Case Western Reserve University and the Temple Tifereth Israel to create a dynamic performing arts center in its University Circle building. You will hear more about this project later in today's program. For now, I just want to say to Rick Block, for his wisdom, his support, and his vision, thank you very much. And of course, I have a special welcome to the graduates' parents, grandparents, spouses, and all the other family members and friends who provided support and encouragement to get our graduates to this special day. On behalf of all of us at Case Western Reserve, I extend my deepest gratitude for all that you have done to support our students to get them here. Before we proceed to the formal part of the program, we have two additional guests I would like to acknowledge. Since 1843, the School of Medicine has been a national leader in research and education. As you may have read last month, it is now ranked number 20 by U.S. News among all medical schools in the United States. In 2002, we forged an extraordinary partnership with the Cleveland Clinic to create the Cleveland Clinic Lerner College of Medicine at Case Western Reserve University, a program designed to develop doctors who are physician scientists. This year, that program graduates its second class of students. With us this morning is the Chief Executive Officer of the Cleveland Clinic, Dr. Toby Cosgrove. An internationally recognized pioneer in cardiac surgery, Dr. Cosgrove gained new recognition this year as President Barack Obama highlighted the achievements of the Cleveland Clinic during debates over healthcare reform. He has been a leading voice in this discussion, profiled and quoted in publications ranging from Newsweek to U.S. News and the New York Times. At the same time, he has maintained a passionate commitment to the success of this academic program and its students. Dr. Cosgrove, thank you for joining us this morning. And finally, this program would not have been possible without the support of Norma Lerner and her late husband, Al. 8 years ago, their $100 million gift to the clinic supported the creation of the Cleveland Clinic Lerner College of Medicine at Case Western Reserve University School of Medicine. Today, this program and its students thrive, and I am proud to be able to express publicly the university's gratitude for Mrs. Lerner's vision and generosity. Thank you very much. Now it is my pleasure to introduce our Provost and Executive Vice President, Bud Bazelak, who is celebrating his second commencement at Case Western Reserve. Bud.
Thank you, Madam President, faculty, students, and families and friends. The commencement program includes brief biographies of all of today's award winners. The Frank and Dorothy Hummel Hovorka Prize is awarded annually to a faculty member whose exceptional achievements in teaching, research, and scholarly service have benefited the community, the nation, and the world. The prize was created by Mrs. Hovorka, a longtime friend, honorary trustee of the university, and 2009 honorary degree recipient. Her husband, the late Frank Hovorka, was for many years a distinguished member of the faculty of our Department of Chemistry. This year, our Hovorka Prize winner is from the Case Western Reserve School of Medicine and the Francis Payne Bolton School of Nursing. He also holds secondary appointments in political science and sociology. Madam President, on behalf of the Hovorka Prize Committee, I present Robert Binstock.
Robert Binstock, you have spent decades exploring issues of aging from multiple perspectives: medical, political, cultural, and more. Your passion for providing a comprehensive picture led you to publish 300 articles and write and edit 25 books, including Aging Nation, The Economics and Politics of Growing Older in America, and the Handbook of Aging and the Social Sciences, now in its 6th edition. Your expertise is so widely admired that the White House tapped you to serve as director of a panel on aging. Today, you serve as one of just 12 members of the MacArthur Foundation's Aging Society Network. Even with this extraordinary record of achievement, you note that one of your most rewarding academic experiences is teaching a course on public policy and aging that draws students from diverse academic fields. You have said of that experience, "When class discussions touch on their core strengths, I learn a lot, and so do they." Your commitment to teaching, learning, and making a positive difference has deepened society's collective understanding and profoundly benefited our campus. Robert Binstock, I confer upon you the Frank and Dorothy Hummel Hovorka Prize for 2010 in recognition of your many important contributions to Case Western Reserve University, to our community, to the nation, and to the world. The President's Award for Visionary Achievement recognizes individuals who have distinguished themselves through exceptional and significant support to Case Western Reserve. Recipients of this award demonstrate a history of prominent philanthropic support to the university, humanity, and the world. Milton and Tamar Maltz care deeply about their faith, this city, and the promise of education. This spring, they made a pledge that advanced all 3 causes in a spectacular manner. Through their family foundation, they committed $12 million to our partnership with the Temple Tifereth Israel. Their lead gift has catalyzed our efforts to preserve this architectural icon as an historic home for its congregation's most significant annual religious observances, and at the same time, transform it into an elegant new home for Case Western Reserve's programs in theater, music, and dance. This extraordinary act is one of many where Milton and Tamar match generosity to values. 2 years ago, they made a $2 million gift to the university to endow our first chair in energy innovation. Through their family foundation, Milton and Tamar also led the development of the Maltz Museum of Jewish Heritage in partnership with the Temple Tifereth Israel, the Jewish Community Federation, and the Western Reserve Historical Society. Finally, the Maltzes were the driving force behind the creation of the International Spy Museum in Washington, D.C., and the reopening and the revitalization of the venue now known as the Maltz Jupiter Theater in Florida. This list does not even begin to convey the breadth and extent of this family's civic and philanthropic leadership. They have been active supporters of the Planned Life Assistance Network and the National Alliance for Research on Schizophrenia and Depression. They have contributed to the Jewish community, the Cleveland community, the entrepreneurial community, and of course, the broadcasting community all over the country. Even with this litany of achievements, Milton and Tamar are two of the most personable, approachable, warm, and enjoyable people you will ever meet. I find that every conversation with them includes equal helpings of humor and wisdom. For all they have done for Case Western Reserve University, our community, and the world, it is my great honor to present the President's Award for Visionary Achievement this year to Milton and Tamar Maltz. Milton and Tamar Maltz, for your significant and exceptional generosity to Case Western Reserve University, today I present to you the 2010 President's Award for Visionary Achievement to bestow upon each of you this stole bearing the presidential seal and to grant you this framed certificate in recognition of this honor.
Madam President, on behalf of the Honorary Degree Committee of the Case Western Reserve University faculty, it is my distinct honor to present candidates for degrees honoris causa. Madam President, on behalf of the Honorary Degree Committee of the University faculty, I present M. Sharif Bassioni as a candidate for the degree Doctor of Laws honoris causa. A distinguished professor of law emeritus at DePaul University, Bassioni is cited by many as, quote, the father of international criminal law, end quote. From 1975 to 2005, he served in more than a dozen different capacities for the United Nations, including as chairman of the drafting committee for an international criminal court and several other positions involving the investigation of violations of human rights in countries around the world. Professor Bassioni is the author of 27 books and 240 journal articles. He is also the editor of another 48 books and the president of the International Human Rights Law Institute. In 1999, he was a nominee for the Nobel Peace Prize. He has also received the Adlai Stevenson Award of the United Nations Association and the Hague Prize for International Law.
M. Sharif Bassioni, for your lifelong pursuit of justice and human rights, and on the recommendation of the university faculty and vote of the Board of Trustees, it is my pleasure to admit you to the degree of Doctor of Laws honoris causa with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto, bestow upon you the hood of the university, and to grant you this diploma.
Madam President, on behalf of the Honorary Degree Committee of the University faculty, I present the Orpheus Chamber Orchestra, represented today by their Executive Director, Graham Parker, as a candidate for the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters honoris causa. Founded in 1972, this Grammy Award-winning organization is known both for its excellence in performance and commitment to collaboration among its artists. Rather than rely on a single conductor, the New York-based chamber orchestra rotates leadership for every work. This shared approach has yielded acclaim in nearly 36 countries around the world and attracted such artists as Isaac Stern, Itzhak Perlman, and Yo-Yo Ma to share the stage. The group also strives to extend its reach to diverse audiences, including an educational program for college-aged musicians and hands-on learning for hundreds of New York City school children each year.
Graham Parker and the Orpheus Chamber Orchestra, for your immense contributions to musical performance, your educational outreach to young people, and your work as a living laboratory of shared management. And on the recommendation of the university faculty and vote of the Board of Trustees, it is my pleasure to admit you to the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa, with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto, to bestow upon you the hood of this university, and to grant you the diploma.
Madam President, on behalf of the Honorary Degree Committee of the University faculty, I present Katie Couric as a candidate for the degree of Doctor of Science honoris causa. One of our country's most successful and well-known television broadcasters, Katie Couric has used her public prominence to serve others, specifically to raise funds for research on colon cancer. Her efforts have raised more than $33 million to support scientists working to prevent and cure this disease.
Katie Couric, for your passionate commitment to medical research, and on the recommendation of the university faculty and vote of the Board of Trustees, it is my pleasure to admit you to the degree of Doctor of Science honoris causa, with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto, to bestow upon you the hood of this university, and to grant you this diploma. Congratulations. Now I would like to tell you a bit more about our commencement speaker. Katie Couric is one of the few people in the world ever to be cited in a peer-reviewed medical journal as a single-handed catalyst for major changes in patient behavior. In July of 2003, the Archives of Internal Medicine published an article documenting the dramatic increases in the number of people undergoing colonoscopies in the 9 months after Katie Couric herself underwent the procedure on national television. The researchers dubbed this 20% jump in screenings the Couric effect. The count of lives saved by this act alone is itself mind-boggling, but Katie's advocacy extends well beyond this singular moment. After the death of her husband, Jay Monahan, in 1998, she co-founded the National Colorectal Cancer Research Alliance, the NCCRA, and more recently helped to launch Stand Up to Cancer, an organization dedicated to speeding the process of taking research breakthroughs directly to patients. In 2008 alone, the organization raised more than $100 million for translational cancer research. Katie Couric's efforts have touched our campus directly. School of Medicine professor Sandy Markowitz, Dr. Markowitz, has served as medical advisor for the NCCRA. Katie once mentioned one of Sandy's clinical trials on the air, and then the office received 5,000 calls from people interested in participating. Katie understands the critical connections among communications, awareness, education, and research. We are very grateful to her for her energy and her insight and all that she brings to this fight against colon cancer. And we are eager to hear the lessons she's learned from her work over the past number of years. It is my great honor to present to all of you today our 2010 commencement speaker, Katie Couric.
President Snyder, deans and faculty of this distinguished institution, honored guests, parents, grandparents, relatives of all kinds, and most of all, the class of 2010. I am so honored and thrilled to be part of your special day. But I have to warn you, from here on out, you all are going to have to call me Dr. Katie. This honor is even more meaningful because of Dr. Sandy Markowitz, a doppelganger for Rick Moranis in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. He is a longtime friend whose lab is doing extraordinary work in the field of colon cancer, among other things, discovering that colon cancers with microsatellite instability activate a polyadenine repeat with the type 2 TGF-beta receptor to become a mutational hotspot. I know, I don't really know what that means either, but the med students do. But believe me, his team is doing critically important and life-saving work, and I am so proud to be associated with their brilliance and dedication. It appears, with the exception of a few of you nodding off over there in row 12, that you have recovered from senior week. I'm certain the jolly scholar, however, was more jolly than scholarly. And I've heard they're also still cleaning up what's left of the pub crawl on West 6th. But you've earned it. You've spent 4 long years, and in some cases even more, pouring your hearts into your studies, squirreled away in one of those little cubicles at KSL or the law or med school libraries, cramming for those big tests, writing those big papers, hopefully minus the Adderall. Pause for nervous laughter. And taking a break for a couple of donuts from Presti's and a Tommy's milkshake. I was told as a student body, you all skew nerdy, more MIT than OU. But since the definition of a nerd is a person who is single-minded or accomplished in scientific or technical pursuits, I say bring on the nerd fest. And who says Case students don't know how to party? According to an article in The Observer called The Best Bars in Cleveland, McNulty's at Coventry scored high marks because of its proximity to Taco Bell. Keeping it classy, Cleveland. Clearly, there has been a lot to learn during your years at Case, and now you're leaving your ivory tower for the concrete jungle. These are difficult times, and the job market outlook is less than rosy. That's not exactly a newsflash, is it? And sadly, it's not really possible to follow the Onion's advice that newly minted college grads be cryogenically frozen until the job market improves. Although that is one way to avoid moving back in with your mom and dad. The good news is you're graduating from a truly outstanding institution, and you're well equipped to face the world. I know you may be anxious if you don't have a job, and even if you do, I'm sure you're wondering, will I do well? Is it the right fit? Well, for those of you who are still looking, I had a conversation this week with Ellen Gordon Reeves, author of Can I Wear My Nose Ring to the Interview? Yes, that's true. I didn't really peg you guys, by the way, as the nose ring types. Belly button rings, maybe. But I do think she offers some terrific tips, like get a business card before you even have a job. That's right. You never know who you'll meet at the dentist, on the bus, at a party. And she says make sure there's a professional email on that card. No hotmama@hotmail.com. And that you have a professional message answering the phone number. No, yo, what's up, dude? Clean up your Facebook page. Monster.com reports that 55% of graduating seniors have already tailored their profiles to be suitable viewing for potential bosses. Good thinking. Posting photos of you guys doing body shots at Put-in-Bay is TMI, and that is BAD. Use social networks to, well, believe it or not, network. Ask your 3,000 plus friends if anyone knows someone at a company and if they'd be willing to connect you. Don't just send your resume into the black hole of cyberspace. Find people, not jobs, someone to talk to, even if it's just an informational interview. It's so hard to convey your energy, enthusiasm, and your emotional intelligence online. And do your homework first. Use your CASE alumni connections. Nothing gives alums as much pride as helping one of their own. Check out career advice on other college websites as well. And once you get your foot in the door, remember the old Head & Shoulders commercial, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So ditch the like, and remember the importance of a firm handshake and eye contact. By the way, how do you spot an extroverted engineer? When they talk to you, they look at your feet. Thought you guys would like a little engineering joke. Trying to satisfy all constituencies here. And, oh, by the way, good grammar is very important. I mentally cross off people when I hear the wrong pronoun. Harsh, but true. I was once, of course, standing in your pumps. In 1979, when I applied for an entry-level job at ABC in Washington, for 3 months, I heard crickets. So I asked my mom to drive me down to the Washington Bureau in our Buick station wagon and wait in the car. I then walked into the building and I said to the receptionist, "May I please speak to Davey Newman?" She got him on the phone and I said, "Hi, Davey." He was the executive producer of World News Tonight, by the way. "You don't know me, but your twin brothers, Steve and Eddie, went to Yorktown High School with my sister Kiki, and I used to play with your niece Julie, who lives up the street from me. Do you think I could come up and say hi?" I think he was so completely flummoxed. He said, "Sure." And he ended up introducing me to the deputy bureau chief who was in charge of hiring. That individual told me he admired my moxie, and I watched as he moved my resume from the bottom of the pile to the top. So now more than ever, you need to have chutzpah. You need to do something that sets you apart, that impresses. And ask not what the company can do for you, but tell them what you can do for the company. Be realistic. I'm not a subscriber to the helicopter parent refrain of, "Honey, you can do whatever you want." I really don't think you can. Sorry. You have to take a good hard look at your strengths, your weaknesses, your skills, and your shortcomings, but most of all, your passions. In 1978, Ina Garten, AKA the Barefoot Contessa, was writing nuclear energy papers at the White House, but was spending much more time making dinner parties for her friends in Washington. According to Ina, "My sweet husband Jeffrey told me I should do what I love doing, which was cooking. And if I loved it, I'd be really good at it." She bought a small specialty food store in the Hamptons called the Barefoot Contessa. Her passion, combined with the rise of a trend called nesting, created career kismet and led to 6 best-selling cookbooks and a hugely popular show on the Food Network. But even if you're not following your bliss right away, a less than dreamy job can actually help you achieve your dreams. You'll learn what you don't want, and you may meet people who can lead you to what you do. Still, doing what you love, as Ina Garten will tell us, takes a lot of elbow grease, or in her case, extra virgin olive oil. Which brings me to my next point. Work hard. There is just no way around it. It may take you a little time to find out what you're good at, what you love, but once you do, realize that hard work is really the answer. That's a major point Malcolm Gladwell makes in his book, Outliers. He writes that to truly master something, you need to spend at least 10,000 hours doing it. After all, the Beatles played together more than 1,000 times before they became quote-unquote overnight sensations on the Ed Sullivan Show back in 1964. Last year, I interviewed Captain Sully Sullenberger, the pilot who landed that U.S. Airways flight on the Hudson River after birds knocked out both engines, saving all 155 people on board. While his story is about grace under pressure, it's also about the value of hard work. For 42 years, he told me, I've been making small, regular deposits in this bank of experience. And on January 15th, the balance was sufficient so that I could make a sudden, large withdrawal. But no matter how hard you all work, there's a good chance you'll stumble at some point. Everyone does. So let me recommend the P word, perseverance. Wherever you go, whatever you do, you'll find someone who will stand in your way or tear you down. In 1980, when I joined a little upstart venture called CNN, it was derided by my colleagues at ABC as chicken noodle news. When my first on-air opportunity came around, I fantasized that this would be the big break I would later describe in my best-selling autobiography. Instead, it became my own personal Stephen King novel. I was asked to do a live report very early the following morning, previewing the president's schedule from the White House lawn. I was 22 and terrified. When I got into place and I put my earpiece into my ear, I heard two incredulous anchors saying, "Who is that girl? She looks like she's about 16 years old." Yes, I did look young, and I sounded like Shirley Temple in Curly Top. Dear diary, what a disaster. The president of CNN, Reese Schoenfeld, called to say, "I never want to see that girl on the air again." But I know, sad, isn't it? But I remember feeling heartened by a coffee cup on the assignment desk that said, "Don't let the turkeys get you down." So to continue the poultry metaphor, I guess that's what you call pluck. But, I know, wah, wah. But Reese Schoenfeld was right. At that point, I really wasn't ready for prime time. So I worked hard, and lo and behold, I got better and more confident. And when opportunity knocked, I wasn't afraid to open the door. Don't get discouraged. As Linda Ellerby once said, some days you're the pigeon, and some days you're the statue. After Fred Astaire's first screen test, in fact, an MGM executive wrote, "Can't sing, can't act, slightly balding, can dance a little." You should also take chances. Most successful people don't get where they are today without taking a risk. When I was considering a move to CBS after anchoring the Today Show for 15 years, a friend of mine told me, "A boat is always safe in the harbor, but that's not what boats are built for. Get out of your comfort zone, even if that means at times being uncomfortable. The only way you'll really grow is to stretch." And I firmly believe that when it comes to the scorecard of life, you do get points for trying. As Teddy Roosevelt said, "It's not the critic who counts, nor the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done better. The credit belongs to the man in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood." Hard work and perseverance may bring you material success, but they won't bring you a life that is truly rich. For that, you have to believe in a higher purpose. I found mine the hard way. In April of 1997, my 41-year-old husband, Jay, was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer. Our daughters, Ellie and Carrie, were 5 and 1. When I wasn't on the air, I was getting a crash course in cancer, frantically calling medical schools, pharmaceutical companies, and biotech startups, trying desperately to find a magic bullet. I never did. Jay died on the way to the hospital in January of 1998. During his 9-month battle, I marveled at his courage, humor, and extraordinary grace. While he was sick and following his death, I felt like there was a vice around my heart 24/7. But 6 simple words written by Thomas Jefferson inspired me to go on. The earth is for the living. I realized that we're all terminal. We all have a finite period of time on this planet. I could not let cancer destroy 2 lives. My daughters needed me, and I was in a unique position to try to prevent other families from going through the terrible loss mine had endured. The National Colorectal Cancer Research Alliance has raised awareness of this second leading cancer killer and provided funding for critically important research like Sandy Markowitz's. Meanwhile, my on-air colonoscopy demystified a procedure that saves countless lives. It's been called, as we heard, the Couric effect, but I call it the Jay Monahan effect. My goal really was to create a movement which may be a very bad or very good choice of words. Pause for laughter. Med students are a little slow over there. Stand Up to Cancer has been another exciting initiative. It's so far committed $85 million to fund scientific dream teams working on all different kinds of cancers from a number of institutions who for the first time are being forced to be collaborative, not competitive. The scientists participating in this new research model are incredibly jazzed and believe it will move life-saving research forward faster. And finally, the J. Monahan Center for Gastrointestinal Health at New York Hospital has treated more than 12,000 patients who have found a place that offers seamless, comprehensive, compassionate care. So many families have told me it's been a godsend during a terrifying and anxious time. And for all of you going into the medical field, please remember your bedside manner really matters. I know, I've been there. My colon cancer work has been more gratifying than any interview I've ever conducted or any story I've ever done. It's helped me to serve others, and I hope teach my children well. I know this message will resonate with all of you because this campus has become a model for volunteerism, from after-school programs for inner-city kids to law clinics to healthcare screenings. I know some of you who are graduating from the School of Social Work are committing your lives to giving back. But I know that all of you, and I hope all of you, will carry this generosity of spirit with you long after you see Case Western Reserve in your rearview mirror. And finally, be kind. The English poet William Blake wrote, "He who would do good to another man must do it in minute particulars." How you treat others, the minute particulars, will inform the big decisions you make. And small acts of kindness are the measure of a man or a woman. As author Annie Dillard wrote, how we live our days, of course, is how we live our lives. And it's not only the right thing to do, it also pays off. People want to see good things happen to good people. If you're kind and caring, they'll be cheering you on instead of booing you from the sidelines. When I was promoted to co-anchor of the Today Show, a hard-nosed veteran producer looked at me and said, "Kid, today you may be drinking the wine, tomorrow you could be picking the grapes." Those same people you pass as you climb the ladder of success will be the same ones who will catch you if you fall. And finally, be kind macrocosmically as well. In this digital age, it is so easy to be a hater. Elevate the conversation online and in life. Don't let civil discourse become an oxymoron. And pursue whatever you do with honor and integrity. You know, I've met so many talented and accomplished people in my career. I emailed a number of them when I heard and was asked to give this graduation address. And I said, what advice would you give to the Case Western Reserve University class of 2010? And believe it or not, some of them even wrote me back. Former Vice President Al Gore, choose the hard right over the easy wrong. Attorney General Eric Holder, you're better prepared than you may realize, and your gifts, skills, contributions, and acts of service have more power to make this world a better place than you may ever know. My generation and future generations are counting on you all. No pressure. Michael J. Fox, as much as we can, it's helpful to be in a place of gratitude. None of us is entitled to anything. We get what we get, not because we want it or we deserve it, but because we earn it, we respect it, and only if we share it do we keep it. Queen Rania of Jordan wrote, if you're too big for a small job, you're too small for a big one. And she said, commencement has one more lesson to teach you. Beware of arrogance, and hubris. Why do you think they make you wear that silly hat? I hear ya, Your Highness. Condoleezza Rice told me, I'm so often asked, how do I get to do what you've done? And I say, you start as a failed piano major. The point is that life is full of surprises and serendipity. Drew Brees, quarterback of the New Orleans Saints, wrote, find what you love to do and then figure out a way to get paid to do it. Chelsea Handler's words of wisdom: always be generous to those who help you, those who advise, to those who work for you, and those who love you. Generosity brings success your way and goes further than talent of any kind. And no matter what, don't sleep with your boss. I think there's a story there. General Ray Odierno, the U.S. commander in Iraq, wrote, "I have learned that greatness is never found in possessions, power, position, or prestige. It's discovered in goodness, humility, service, and character." And I can tell you, General Odierno exemplifies all of those things. In exactly 140 characters, Twitter co-founder Biz Stone said, "Think about what is valuable before thinking about what is profitable, and know that there's compound interest in helping others. Start early." Anna Quinlan, one of my favorite writers, described fear and said it's your biggest enemy. And she said, quote, "Carry your courage in an easily accessible place every day, the way you do your cell phone or your wallet. You may still falter or fail, but you will always know that you pushed hard and aimed high. Courage is the ultimate career move. And don't pass on dessert." Sheryl Crow, inspired by a book called The Four Agreements, said, "Don't take things personally, don't make assumptions, make your word impeccable, and do the best you can." As Sheryl sang, every day is a winding road. As you all map out your life and program your personal GPS, remember the shortest distance between point A and point B may be a straight line, but it really is the twists and the turns, even the detours and the stop signs, that make the journey worthwhile. So roll down the windows, soak up the sun, and enjoy the ride. And by the way, don't text and drive. Congratulations to all of you, and as Edward R. Murrow would say, good night and good luck.
Thank you, Katie, for your support of medical research, for your belief in the importance of speaking out, and for being with us this morning. In so many ways, you are a real pioneer.
The deans of the schools and colleges will now present candidates for degrees to be conferred today. Also to be presented are graduates whose degrees were officially conferred in August and January and who have returned to participate in today's ceremony. Dean Pamela Davis will present candidates from the School of Medicine.
Madam President, I have the honor of presenting from the School of Medicine, both the university program and the Cleveland Clinic Lerner College of Medicine, the candidates for the degree of Doctor of Medicine.
Will these candidates please rise?
By order of the Board of Trustees and by virtue of the authority vested in me, I now confer upon these candidates the degree of Doctor of Medicine and admit them to the honors, rights, privileges, and obligations pertaining thereto.
be seated. Dean Norman Tien will present candidates from the Case School of Engineering.
Madam President, I have the honor of presenting from the Case School of Engineering candidates for the degree of Master of Engineering.
Will these candidates please rise?
By order of the Board of Trustees and by virtue of the authority vested in me, I now confer upon these candidates the degree of Master of Engineering and admit them to the honors, rights, privileges, and obligations pertaining thereto.
Dean Charles Rozek will present candidates from the School of Graduate Studies.
Madam President, I have the honor of presenting from the School of Graduate Studies candidates for the degrees of Master of Arts, Master of Fine Arts, Master of Public Health, Master of Science in the fields of Engineering, or Master of Engineering in Management.
Will these candidates please rise?
By order of the Board of Trustees and by virtue of the authority vested in me, I now confer upon these candidates the degree of Master of Arts, Master of Fine Arts, Master of Public Health, Master of Science, or Master of Science in the fields of Engineering, or Master of Engineering and Management, and admit them to the honors, rights, privileges, and obligations pertaining thereto.
Please be seated.
Madam President, I have the honor of presenting from the School of Graduate Studies candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy.
Will these candidates please rise?
By order of the Board of Trustees and by virtue of the authority vested in me, I now confer upon these candidates the degree of Doctor of Philosophy and admit them to the honors, rights, privileges, and obligations pertaining thereto.
Please be seated. Interim Dean Robert Rawson will present candidates from the Franklin Thomas Backus School of Law.
Madam President, I have the honor to present from the Franklin Thomas Backus School of Law candidates for the degrees of Juris Doctor or Master of Laws.
Will these candidates please rise?
By order of the Board of Trustees and by virtue of the authority vested in me, I now confer upon these candidates the degree of Juris Doctor or Master of Laws and admit them to the honors, rights, privileges, and obligations pertaining thereto.
Please be seated. Dean Gerald Goberg will present candidates from the School of Dental Medicine.
Madam President, I have the honor to present from the School of Dental Medicine candidates for the degree of Doctor of Dental Medicine or Master of Science in Dentistry.
Will these candidates please rise?
By order of the Board of Trustees and by virtue of the authority vested in me, I now confer upon these candidates the degree of Doctor of Dental Medicine or Master of Science in Dentistry and admit them to the honors, rights, privileges, and obligations pertaining thereto.
Please be seated. Dean Grover Cleveland Gilmore will present candidates from the Mandel School of Applied Social Sciences.
Madam President, I have the honor of presenting from the Mandel School of Applied Social Sciences candidates for the degree of Master of Science in Social Administration.
Will these candidates please rise?
By order of the Board of Trustees and by virtue of the authority vested in me, I now confer upon these candidates the degree of Master of Science in Social Administration and admit them to the honors, rights, privileges, and obligations pertaining thereto.
Please be seated. Dean May Weichel will present candidates from the Francis Payne Bolton School of Nursing.
Madam President, I have the honor of presenting from the Francis Payne Bolton School of Nursing candidates for the degree of Master of Nursing, Master of Science in Nursing, or Doctor of Nursing Practice.
Will these candidates please rise?
By order of the Board of Trustees and by virtue of the authority vested in me, I now confer upon these candidates the degree of Master of Nursing, Master of Science in Nursing, or Doctor of Nursing Practice, and admit them to the honors, rights, privileges, and obligations pertaining thereto.
Please be seated. Dean Mohan Reddy will present candidates from the Weatherhead School of Management.
Madam President, I have the honor of presenting from the Weatherhead School of Management candidates for the degree of Doctor of Management, Master of Accountancy, Master of Business Administration, Master of Science in Management, Master of Science in Positive Organizational Development and Change, or Master of Nonprofit Organizations.
Will these candidates please rise?
By order of the Board of Trustees and by virtue of the authority vested in me, I now confer upon these candidates the degree of Doctor of Management, Master of Accountancy, Master of Business Administration, Master of Science in Management, Master of Science in Positive Organization Development and Change, or Master of Nonprofit Organizations, and admit them to the honors, rights, privileges, and obligations pertaining thereto.
Please be seated. The undergraduate candidates from the Weatherhead School of Management, the Francis Payne Bolton School of Nursing, the Case School of Engineering, and the College of Arts and Sciences will be presented by Deans Mohan Reddy, May Weichel, Norman Tien, and Cyrus Taylor, respectively.
Madam President, I have the honor of presenting from the Weatherhead School of Management candidates for the degrees of Bachelor of Science in Accounting and the Bachelor of Science in Management.
Will these candidates please rise and remain standing?
Madam President, I have the honor of presenting from the Francis Payne Bolton School of Nursing candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
Will these candidates please rise and remain standing?
Madam President, I have the honor of presenting from the Case School of Engineering candidates for the degrees of Bachelor of Science in Computer Science and Bachelor of Science in Engineering.
Will these candidates please rise and remain standing?
Madam President, I have the honor of presenting from the College of Arts and Sciences candidates for the degrees of Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Science as described in the program.
Will these candidates please rise and remain standing?
These candidates, having met all the requirements of their course of study, having been certified to the Board of Trustees as meriting the degree of Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Science as described in the program, by order of the Board of Trustees and by virtue of the authority vested in me, I now confer upon these candidates their degrees and admit them to the honors, rights, privileges, and obligations pertaining thereto.
Please be seated.
In recognition of the degrees just conferred, diplomas and the appropriate hoods will be presented by each dean at separate school or college diploma ceremonies following this convocation. Graduates, just one more thing. You did it. Congratulations. Now it is my pleasure to introduce James Trelevin, President of the Alumni Association of Case Western Reserve University. Jim, a 1969 graduate of Case Institute of Technology, returned to campus to complete a PhD in 1990 from the School of Graduate Studies. Jim is an active alumni leader and a great friend of our university, and he will provide the official welcome to our newest alumni.
Thank you, Madam President. Let me add my personal congratulations to all of you on your accomplishments while here at Case Western Reserve University. When I graduated from this great institution more than a few years ago, for the first time, I was warmly welcomed into that alumni family, and I am very pleased to extend that welcome to you all today. You are now officially lifetime members, whether you like it or not, of the Alumni Association of Case Western Reserve University, an outstanding group of more than 100,000 men and women, and several thousand more today. It is your association, and it is here to help you in your professional and personal development, no matter where your career takes you. Alumni events are held here in Cleveland and in chapters around the world, indeed cities throughout the country and the world, from Washington, D.C., to Chicago, where I live, and Tokyo, just to name a few. Your Alumni Association needs your participation in order to pass on our history and traditions to future generations and keep our great university great. Because the entire university community is eager to celebrate your future achievements, please stay connected and stay involved. Last but not least, I would like to invite you to return to campus and to visit the beautiful Alumni House, which I'm sure you've all walked by many times, but it's now your home away from home. And finally, with great respect to Dr. Katie Couric, never leave Case Western Reserve University in your rearview mirror. Again, congratulations. We wish you all the very best.
Please rise and join us in the singing of the Alma Mater, which can be found on page 6 of your program. Our Alma Mater will be led by our singer, Stephen Stumphauser. This concludes our convocation. Our marshals will now lead the graduate and professional schools to their next locations, which are listed on page 4 of your commencement program. Undergraduate candidates will remain seated, and the undergraduate diploma ceremony will follow shortly. Guests should remain seated. Thank you.